Hello, everybody. This is Auntie Lynn, one of your aunties from the Straight No Chaser podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Helen J. Collier, Miss Leslie Montgomery, and tonight we have three special guests. We have a returning guest, Miss Jolu Irvin. We have Miss Connie Calloway, and we also have Miss Jeanette Price here to talk about sisterhood. We're going to encourage y'all to sit down, learn you something. We say something that inspires you or just sparks something in you. We ask that you leave a comment. Of course, we ask you to like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, come on in, sit down at the table and learn you something. I'm going to read something. Won't you listen up close? We're going to talk about sisterhood tonight. You might have heard these words before. I take you, so and so, to be my lawfully wedded spouse, to have, to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish in sorrow and joy from this day forward, till death do we part. Sounds like wedding vows, right? But
Hmm.
that's exactly what happens with the sisterhood. We vow to love one another, to honor each other, to cherish each other, sometimes in sickness, a lot of times in health, and even sometimes till death do us part. We show up for each other in ways that sometimes family can't show up. We show up in ways sometimes that even our spouses or our significant others can't show up for us. A lot of times we're there for each other, for our kids, for helping to raise kids in the village. Um, when someone has a new business starting, we're there to support them. When someone has a new podcast, we're there to support each other for everything. Someone says, "Hey, sis, I want to go back to school." We're patting each other on the back, saying, "Yeah, girl, do it. You can do it." Sometimes we are just each other's best cheerleaders. And sometimes when things are hard, we're there for a shoulder to lean on, to let those tears flow. Sometimes they're happy tears and sometimes they're sad tears. Right now, as I sit, I'm in the hospital with my husband, just kind of an emergency. And before we started the podcast, there were the sisters rallying around me. It's going to be okay. I'll pray for you. Sometimes that's all we have is prayer for each other. But tonight we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what sisterhood means to us. We're not going to have all the answers as we say all the time, but we're going to do our best to either spark something in your mind, something that makes you sit up and think of how to be present, how to be more supportive of your friends, and then also how to show up for yourself. So, with that being said, um, my one of my good friends is here tonight, and I've known her for 30, maybe 37 years or so. We went through joys and pains of life, ups and downs. We met in a mutual spot and we just never left each other. We stayed in that spot. We don't always talk, just like sisters don't always talk to each other. But when we do reconnect, we pick up like nothing ever happened. Like there was never, ever any other love lost. So we've always supported each other through miles and miles of distance. We've supported each other in close distance to each other. Um, we've raised our kids together as sisters do. And we just come through for each other. So tonight, let's get started and talk about whew, sisterhood. Sisterhood. And with that, I'm going to give it over to Miss Helen J. Collier to introduce her guest.
Some years ago, I walked into my mother's hospital bedroom, and she said to me, "Sometime God is blessing you, and you don't even know it." I I I think it was about 2023, late in the fall. Um, I was going to do a reading as a storyteller, right? I was going to the reading at uh, um, 44, being 44 over in West Seattle. And there was this woman sitting there, and she looked so professional. She looked as though she was just, I said, I had my followings who had come to hear me read, and my friend uh Noni had come too, and I see she had this a professional woman with her, and I was just wondering where she come from, who is she? And so I began to read Willie the Blacksmith. And then I heard her say, "Oh, I like the way she read." And I said, "Is she talking about me or someone else?" And her name is Jolu Irvin. And she has not been in my life many, many years, but it seems as though she has. And she is so gentle, so thought provoking, and she always keep me looking and thinking, and she's a retired principal and has been in the Seattle educational system for 30 some years or so. And when God gives you a gift, it is a blessed gift, and she has been a blessed gift to me since the day she smiled my way and picked up my book and said, "I gotta read it." Joe, this her name is Joe Who Irvin. She's one wonderful woman.
Mhm.
Thank you, Miss Helen.
And I'm going to now turn it over. I'm sorry, I guess forgive me. I'm going to now turn it over to Leslie.
Um, Thank you, Miss Helen. My name's Leslie Montgomery, one of the co-hosts here on this podcast, and we're talking about sisterhood. And because of a unique um, experience that I had gone through within the penal system, um, I have been able to look through a different lens when you think of sisters or what sisterhood means to you, what it feels like to you. Um, I have been able to see a lot of women come under the guise of sisterhood, but really having ulterior motives, right? Um, this evening, my guest is Miss Connie Calloway, and I met Connie, if I'm not mistaken, back in like 2002 or three, some early 2000s. So we've been knowing each other for well over 20 years. And even saying that, it's like, it just blows me away because it's like a full circle moment this evening. I'm really honored that I could invite her as a guest and that she would show up to, speak on this topic, um, because it's really important. And I like to look at life in seasons. And so for her and myself, we're in a different season than when we first met. But I'm really, really just honored to have her here this evening and to bring her perspective, and to speak on sisterhood however she feels, or comfortable speaking on it. But yeah, it's been quite a journey, and we've gone through a lot together. And I hope that this evening I have shown up for her in the spirit of sisterhood. So yeah. Connie, if you have anything to say, please.
So do any of our guests have anything to say on the topic of sisterhood or how you met or
Okay, I have something to say. Um, I believe Helen and I met before the virus, so it's like 2018,
Mm.
and I was with my daughter Noni, and so she wanted me to um, go with her to the Black Writers Organization and to listen to people write. And when I heard Helen read her story, a lot of what she writes about, I've experienced in my life. So I wanted to read more of her stuff. So then I have every one of her books. So far I've read every one of her books. And we started talking because I wanted, once I read the book, my daughter said, "Oh, you should call her and tell her." And I'm going, she doesn't want me bothering her, you know? And so finally I got her number, and I started calling her and talking to her about her books and told her how much of her book I've experienced in my lifetime, because I grew up in the South, and she writes mostly, well, not mostly, but she writes a lot about historical fiction, but it's a reality from where I lived. And so anyway, when we started to share about things like that, our friendship grew closer and closer. And then I developed this feeling that, okay, she's someone that I can talk to at any time. Then we started sharing personal things about ourselves. And now we're at the point to where she's right now the only friend that I know that I can call at 2 and 3 in the morning. And she can call me at 2 and 3 in the morning when something comes up. I have other friends too. Sometimes they go to bed early, and but she's like one of the friends that I lost a long time ago, like in 2006. My friend passed away, and she was like Helen to me in that I can call her up and I can tell her anything, and she's got my back. So okay, so thank you for that too, Helen.
Thank you for having mine.
I have a question for Connie. Do you mind, Connie, if I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I know that Leslie had a unique situation, as she puts it. Um, but how is that for you, supporting her and her supporting just over a long period of time? She's not easy, she's not hard to love anyway, but
Right.
I'm just like
Okay, so I met Leslie when I was young and I was incarcerated and I just took a liking to her. It was like I don't know, like building a different sisterhood in another environment, but I guess staying close to your environment in a positive way, like doing the transition, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
going from a community where you have gangs, you have your homegirls, you're selling drugs, but now that I see like we still made jokes amongst each other that was jokes like kind of we took it playfully, but it was kind of tearing down too. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
so when I got it locked up, I was forced to interact with all type of people, but still trying to stay in my comfort zone a little bit. So with Leslie, she was hip. She comes from where I come from. You know what I'm saying? But she was also positive too, trying to guide me in a different direction. And of course, she's black, we're black. You know what I'm saying? We can relate to each
Yeah.
other. And so, like I said, so it was more in a positive way, like, go to school, try to get your GED, don't be up here just fooling around, fighting, getting into trouble, messing with females. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to keep me like on the right track. So that's how I built my sisterhood with her.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing. I know sometimes there's so many facets to sisterhood, right? Jeanette, I have a question for you if you don't mind answering. When we met, we were at a school. We were both educators, so teaching in an environment that there were very few people that you could really just lean on and say that these are my friends. But what are some ways that we've gone through and kind of encouraged each other, shown up for each other?
Verna, when I first met you, I was and didn't realize it, I was in the valley of my life. I had no one. My sister, Jennifer, was incarcerated during that time, and I was raising my nephew, her son. I was an orphan at the age of 7. So, and I was very introverted, and I grew up in a very I don't even know how to put it, broken home, broken family, violence, all of it, you name it. I went through it. So as an adult, when I met Verna, I didn't, I can just say that God is good.
Mm.
When I met Verna at the time in my life, I was pregnant with my first child. Just hired at the school Verna was at through her mom, Sister Gloria, who the Lord brought into my life as a godly mom. Throughout my life, God, I notice, have always brought older women into my world to give me a little bit of wisdom and kind of guide me. And at that time, I didn't realize it. But I met Verna through Sister Gloria, and Verna was just always there for me. I could talk to her about anything. And it's always been hard for me to trust people because I never really had a lot of friends, and my own sister was gone away at that time. And so she was just always there for me. Um, that's how I think sisterhood is. She never judged me. She always opened up her home to me when my kids were born. She was having her kids, her two at that time, and she always brought her family to my house, and she just opened me up. She showed me that there was more to life than just being in the cave that I was in. And at that time, the way I moved, that's how my kids were moving, being isolated, isolating themselves. So she came and just opened up a new way of living for me, that there was happiness, there was joy. She was a person I could always go to. And I know in my heart, I was never there for you, I feel like, as you were always there for me. But even now, as I'm older and we're all older, there were gaps that we didn't even communicate because life happens. But then when we did connect again, it was just a beautiful thing because, like Verna said, we just continued on as if there was no gaps. And so that's Verna will always be my sister, and she represents sisterhood in my life. And because of you, Verna, I've been able to open myself up to more and gain more sisters.
I love that.
Mhm.
We talk about a lot about sisterhood and being there for each other. I remember last summer, when my husband had his stroke and people were calling, what do you need? What do you need? And Jeanette called me, and my other cousin called me, and they're like, "What do you need?" I said, "I just need laughter right
Mm.
I need laughter and prayer. And they were like, say less. When we gonna do this? So I set a date. They came, no hesitation. We got a hotel for the weekend
Mm.
and we laughed and cried and prayed and laughed some more and just silly, right? Now, sisterhood is you just sometimes you just ain't got no words and you just laughing at nothing to keep from crying, right? And then
Man.
times when they just hold you and say, yeah, if you need to cry, go ahead and do that too. But it was very therapeutic.
Mhm.
And I think that's with sisterhood, even with like with Miss Helen and Leslie, just sometimes we just be silly, laughing on the phone, talk about nothing. But I love all y'all for that. I love you for that. And it's with that, I'm gonna switch the view and we're just gonna open up and have a conversation and talk about what sisterhood means to us. And I'm trying to get it together. But anybody who wants to speak on that, go ahead. And I'm putting it on gallery view. Can you all see each other? Hi, y'all.
Hey,
Hi.
Okay,
um,
I can start if you.
Please do.
Um, okay. Um, Sisterhood, for me is having someone around that cares about you during your good times and your bad times. Someone that you can always count on to be there for you.
mhm,
Um, and like I said, I can call Helen in the middle of the night, or early morning, and she's still available to me, and she does the same with me.
Yep.
And so we just make time to support each other, and also sisterhood is having a person that when you're down, they pick you up. And I think Leslie said some of that when she was talking earlier. It's the person that calms your fears or calms your frustration. And I know there are a lot of times when I talk to Helen and I'm thinking one way and I'm all upset. And by the time I talk to her, we're laughing and talking about it. And she says, "Girl, you can't let that bother you, you know."
mhm,
So that makes a lot of difference when you've got a friend that is with you during your good times and your bad times. So.
mhm. Um, I I want to say this. I can't have this conversation without mentioning a very dear friend of mine, Mary Manning, because and I know our relationship to date and how it started in my heart of hearts. I know it was a God thing. It was a divine appointment, right? And this woman has whew,
It's
uh
okay. It's okay.
Mhm.
Love does that.
oh, when I think
Mhm.
about her and what sisterhood means to me, and we're talking about people who are not related to you, right? People who show up in
Mhm.
your life and they don't walk ahead of you, they walk side by side with you. This woman walked side by side with me, and not just me, but pulled in my children, my family, um, through a quarter of a century
Mhm.
um, of
That
prison time. Never once hesitated to, and never once went to the left or the right, and is still here to this day. Like, she is the epitome of sisterhood.
Mhm.
I could not have ever imagined this or written it into my story, but I can't sit here this evening and talk about sisterhood and not mention her. Um, And that's a beautiful thing. It's something that I could only aspire to do for somebody else in my lifetime, which also like knowing where Connie and I started, yeah, she was young. I think she was maybe like 18 or something. I don't know, just a wild kid. And I was like, I was to a lot of younger females, like the auntie, the big sister, the whatever. You know what I mean? But it's so important and to just keep moving in the spirit of that. And Mary Manning has taught me so much and shown me so much that I'm able to be here and able to extend a hand and say, "Hey, I want to show up for you tonight, Connie. I want you to be able to show up for yourself tonight." And speak from your own perspective and what life looks like through your lens in the spirit of sisterhood. So yeah, it's just it's a really, it's a long word, but in the grand scheme of things, when we look at what sisterhood means, it is, we can go so many different places with it. But yeah, Mary is who I really, really wish could have been here this evening, and you guys could have experienced her because she's an amazing woman who who has shown up, like you said, Joe. You know, it just don't matter what you're going through. She was always there. And God knows I've been through some things, a lot, and she's always been there. And I know that she will continue to be there until there's no breath in her body. So, yeah.
When I met Mary, that sentiment was just so real because they came, pulled up to the airport. She jumped out and gave me a hug. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're doing this then.
Yeah.
And I could feel the love. And I was like, thank you so much for being there for Leslie, even when we weren't. And she's like, yeah, okay, so where are we gonna eat? Or
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like she's just a really sweet person. And,
Mhm.
I could see her genuine support, genuine love for you, the genuine love that you guys have for each other. I mean, and her husband. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? But, like I was telling him, and he was saying, I wasn't there the whole time. And I was like, but by you supporting Mary, supporting Leslie, you were
Mhm.
there,
Yeah.
you were there. And that's what friendship is. I mean, I've read these wedding vows at the top, right? And if we replace sisterhood with any of these things, right?
Mhm.
We're not lawfully wedded, but we having and holding and going from this day for A1s from day one. Ain't that what
Mhm.
we say? It's my A1 from day one, for richer or for poorer, sometimes we'd be like, girl, I'm gonna have to borrow a few dollars or whatever.
Right.
Or, and they'd be like, nah, you don't need to borrow nothing. If I got it, you got it. Um, Even like with, the situation with my daughter recently, put out a text, hey, this is what I need. And so many just flooded. And Helen J. Collier was the first one to call me super early in the morning, like, hey, I'm going to give you this towards, what you need. And it just, things like that, cherishing each other, supporting each other. However, if, you know, I got something going on, girlfriends, and I know right here, it's just the three that are here as guests represent, you know, a fraction of the girlfriends, but look who's here and why we chose them, right?
Mhm.
They got to be the top, cream of the crop, right? To show up, even like this. I called Jeanette, hey, gonna do this thing. We're gonna talk about sisterhood. She like, when? Send me the link,
Mhm.
right? You know.
Knowing I was going to struggle with it.
Mhm.
But you mentioned something though, Verna, at the beginning about, the covenant of marriage. So there's a covenant with sisterhood too. And I just feel like we're all ordained by God to be where we are in each other's life at this time.
Mhm.
Sisterhood is a covenant, it's a promise to each other.
Mm.
Whether we say that we're going to do this, until whenever, death do us part, or whether we show it in our actions, like you and I, we never really, we never proposed to each other, but you just always were there for me. And I hope that I've always at least been there for you as much as you. And I say you and Daryl, because the covenant again, the way you two operate, within your marriage has, it really enlightened me and helped me in my relationships. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like we don't always have an example to look at, to try to be like. And you and Daryl were that example for me, in my marriages. But you were always that example for me as a woman and how I should walk, and you were never afraid to tell me things that may hurt my feelings, and that was something I didn't have in my life. And so it's like it never hurt my feelings, but it was like always like maybe I used the wrong word, but you weren't afraid to throw in knowledge for me.
Mm.
Things that you may have thought I knew but didn't, because I am older than you, but you threw a lot of wisdom my way. And so to me, wisdom carries, we don't just grow up with wisdom. It's something that God gives us if we ask for it, but it's also our journey
Mm-hmm.
in life, our ups and our downs and what we learn from, so it's a covenant, it's a sisterhood covenant. And now I have what, 1, 2, 3, 4 more sisters in my life, and I'm grateful.
Yeah. Well, if I might jump in here, when I think about womanhood, I think about sisterhood, because we as women, especially Black women, have our own deep seated cares that causes us to move in such a spiritual, or I would say a way that when people say, oh, they so Black women are intimidated, they're just strong, you know, I think that deep down in our heart we have loved the world. We have been a part of it. When I think about Joe, and my writing is absolutely my life, because I have 10 titles and I am writing right now a trilogy of 3 books at once. It's because that's just in my heart. That's just a part of me. And Joe, when I had told her, well, I didn't even know she had the trilogy, and then which it took me 30 some years to write. And for her to have read my trilogy after I had written it, and when I first came here, I was writing on it, and a professor at the University of Washington had said some very distressful, hurtful things about how she felt, and so it sort of got me into a got me into the feeling of, why am I writing? Why should I be writing? And if I'm not writing what I should be writing. But then my sister-in-law said, oh no, that's your God-given gift. You have to stay on it. And when Joe, uh, she had my books in her car, and she would tell me she'd gone to do some business or something, and she had so many people purchasing my trilogy until I said, And the trilogy for me was something that was actually the most profound piece of work that I've ever done, because as I said, it took me 30 years to complete it, because it was about the lives of people that I knew. And when she related to it and was there having people uh, purchase the book that I didn't even know, and we would have all these deep conversations, as she say, you never know what's going to touch you. You never know what's going to be important to you. And sometimes when you're doing something that's really precious and dear to you, if you don't have others that you can trust, because when you're writing, your books are like your babies. They're growing inside of you, and you're putting them down, but they haven't given you haven't once you publish them, you give it birth. And so once you give birth to them, they take flight, and then they're not really yours anymore because they belong to the world. And so I think for me, when Joe became my sister, in being and giving me encouragement when I really a lot of times didn't have the encouragement, and it's the same with Lynn when have reading many of my books, but what I found is that sometimes people will purchase your books, they will keep them, but for deep down something that was important to me and passionate in my heart, when Joe got my books and I didn't even know she was reading them, and then found out, and we would sit up late at night discussing them and why and for the reason it gave me a sense of having my passion being something that I should not give up, but I should continue, and I should because there were times when I just didn't know, but I had those around me. But the sisterhood goes from sister to sister, and as they come into your life, and sometimes they're not in there always, but when they're in there, I believe that's a season that God has given you for learning. There's a God, because He's sending His angels to you to help you move through life, and I feel blessed that I've had her, Leslie, I'm meeting you ladies, Lynn, in my life, and it's like a family.
Yeah.
It's like a precious family, and you cannot take it for granted. You got to love it. You got to
Miss Helen,
know
can I
this.
ask you real quickly just to adjust your camera down a little bit because you're way at the bottom of your screen.
You want me to
I gotta see you,
Okay.
Miss Helen. I gotta see my sister. There you go. Yeah,
But
that's
I love you, ladies. You are my sisters, and it is good to have a family of sisters who you can hear and share with.
And be the first to read the book.
oh, that's love, man.
Yeah.
That is love. I'm gonna go around and I'm just gonna ask y'all to give me one or two words that to you describe sisterhood. One or
Oh,
two.
let me say this. Someone who you can go to, whether it's the sun is shining or it's in the storm, and they'll be there for you. That is sisterhood for me.
Sisterhood for me is like, I guess, creating a safe space for people to express themselves without being judged or put down.
Mhm.
I
And
like
for
that.
me, it's unconditional love and support without being judgmental.
Right.
It's a never-ending love. No matter what season, no matter what day, no matter what time of the year,
Mhm.
it's sent from above. So sisterhood is never ending. It's
Right.
trust.
Mhm.
Leslie, did you want to say?
2 words I would say for me is patience and consistency.
Mhm.
Okay. That's good. You guys gave some good answers. For me, I think of agape love.
Mhm.
Um, there's all the ebbs and flows of life, right? And some people come in your life and then they're out. There's some people that come in your life and they stay, but they're not your go-to people,
Mhm.
right? Um, and you know, I think having sisterhood that's not your blood sometimes can carry you further
Mhm.
because you don't have the judgment
Mhm.
so much sometimes, right? A family, sometimes they see your ups and downs and they may judge you. You've done this, you've done that, or you weren't here for me, or,
Mhm.
expecting more from you.
Ah,
And where you have a sisterhood, sometimes it's just, I accept you for who you are, how you
Mhm.
are, and I may not like everything you do, and you may not like everything I do, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be here, right? Um, when my friend Marie passed away in 2019, everything was happening around. My daughter got in her car accident. The baby, my other grandbaby was born, and he had to have, or he was on a transplant list for his heart. Um,
mm,
and just a lot happening. But on her deathbed, she asked me about the well-being of my son and the baby. And until she couldn't speak anymore, every time I would leave the hospital, she would pray for them. And
Mhm.
I'm like, we here for you, right? Marie,
Mhm.
we're here to lift you up and encourage you and pray. And she was like praying for the baby, praying for my son, praying for me. And I was like, whoo, what a great example
Mhm.
of a Bible, you know?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
Mary,
think
I'm sorry. Go
what
ahead. I just wanted to say one thing. When Noni well, she introduced me to her mother, and then now she when she introduced me to no, she told me about Lynn. So I just got to get Lynn. She told me about Lynn, and when she told me about Lynn, and I'm just trying to think. She's from Tacoma. What? And she's doing a author's appreciation. What is this all about? And I gotta meet this. And so she said, "You going to?" And because I was getting ready to do something very important, I was going to do a reading at this restaurant. She said, "Oh, no, no, no! You're not doing that reading. You're gonna get with Lynn." I said, "Lynn, who?" I said, "What is this? What does she do?" And then she we met. I started going to her Zoom. I said, I have to go to every Zoom that she has so that I will know who this woman is and what she's about. And each Zoom that I went to, I said, God, you must really have sent this lady, put this lady in my life because I never missed when I went to the first one, I never missed the next three because she was so encouraging. And when I went to the author's appreciation, it was so coming here to Seattle with all these white people, and I'm from East St. Louis, where it's just black, everybody's black. I said, what? I had not seen that many black people together, nourishing each other, supporting each other, caring for each other. I mean, she would take my business cards, and I mean, I think she was passing them out more than I was then. And she was always giving me accolades. When that's sisterhood to me. When you go into someone's space and they welcome you in that space and they
Mhm.
make you feel that whatever you're doing, that's special to you, it's important to them. And I wanted to show up and show out when I did my my thing for her author's appreciation, because it was absolutely gave the black me or the black female a space that was so precious that I had not been able to be awarded in a city so white.
Mm.
I gotta say it. It is what it is. But not to say that I didn't meet a lot of um, um, crafted white writers, black, male and female, that were really gifted. But it was something when you look through your reflections of your own lens and you see the beauty of who you are. When so many years you have been told there's no beauty, but the
Mhm.
beauty is there waiting for you. And that's where it was when I met Verna Lynn Reese.
Not the government name.
Man, we sure been throwing that around like that.
Okay. Oh,
No, like you were saying, like sometimes it's what is that called? A time, a season, and a place where people will come in your life and they'll drop something on you to take along the way, even though you don't communicate with them anymore. It's like, they come, they put something on you or they drop something on you and you take it along the way and move on. Sisterhood is like very encouraging, empowerment, and not only for other people but like as us, just being like you guys were saying, just as us being women and supportive, um like I know sometimes I'll be tired and I'll be like, I don't want to go to that birthday party, or I don't want to go to that graduation, or you know what I'm saying, or I don't want to do that. Like sometimes I have to hold myself accountable because I want people to show up for me. And I got a sister that always shows up. She's gonna show up if she's late. You know what I'm saying? She gonna show up to every event. She gonna call. She gonna be like, "I'm on my way. I love you. I'm on my way. I'm coming." She gonna buy good gifts. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
Uh-huh.
like I want to be a person where people can count on me too. If I say that I'm gonna do something, I don't want somebody to have to question. And I think now, as me being older and just like working through things in my life, like I can be accountable for, you know what I'm saying? If somebody calls me and I say I'm gonna do it, that means I'm gonna do it. Like I ain't gonna be drunk or I ain't gonna party the night before and just, you know what I'm saying? Just wanting people to show up for me but not doing the same in return. So I wanna be a good sister, you know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
wanna build good bonds and good relationships with people.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's
can't wait
right.
till we all can get together in the same space because y'all, I'm already feeling something about y'all.
Um, can I please say something before I forget? Now,
Say it.
it's gonna be really quick, but I want to just really touch on what Jeanette said when you were speaking about you and Verna's relationship, how there was a time when you didn't feel basically that you were pouring in as you were being poured into. And Miss Helen, I believe you said something that kind of spoke to that same thing. Well, what I would like to say is because I was, especially to you, Miss Jeanette, being a recipient in my eyes in the relationship with Mary Manning, because I was on that side and I feel like I wasn't giving her and giving back as much as I was getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only a person who has really sat and been on that side and knows all of the different layers of oppression that come with it. Um, and I just want to say this, like, and I had to learn this lesson the hard way. But she, she said, Leslie, you cannot, like, take away the gift that you are to me, you know.
Mm.
you don't have to always feel that there's equally you're giving the same thing that Verna was giving you. Your presence is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Your life is a gift. Your friendship and sisterhood is a gift. So even in the times where you might have felt like you weren't giving as much, no, you was. And that's a part of the sisterhood, right?
Right.
Well,
So,
thank you, Miss Leslie. Yeah,
yeah.
that's very encouraging because when Verna spoke to me about this particular event,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my heart just jumped, but of course she didn't realize it. Like me thinking automatically on those terms that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've squeezed all her energy when I look back at
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood. That was the topic. I can speak on it, but for her to choose me out of everyone that she's around just really uplifted me and made me realize what you're saying. I don't have to try to equal it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the love that she sees in me, and that's enough. And and,
Yeah.
and that, Verna, I'm so thankful that you did invite me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't really have to think about making it equal, because
Right.
there
Mhm.
will be a time when your needs will be greater than someone else's, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll
Right.
be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen.
And you
So.
show up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Jeanette
yeah.
always shows up.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we've had years in between where we didn't sometimes even know where Jeanette was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, through
Hi,
marriages,
girl.
sometimes we just, you know, but it doesn't mean that I ever didn't think of you. You know what I mean? I mean, you have just given me a wealth. And then to just see your strength and resilience,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm sitting over here watching you go through and being like, man, I don't know that I could be that strong ever,
Hmm.
right? But
Hmm.
I mean, we laugh more than we cry,
Yes.
and we pray together more than anything,
Amen.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But and y'all don't know, Jeanette is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell y'all, we just answer the phone and start laughing. For I just said hello. We laughing, right? That is a sisterhood thing, right? And I'm sure that we all have those, those moments where it's like, I don't even know what I wanted after the first 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I don't even know what I called you for because we're laughing and we're feeding each other's souls in that way that we need. Um, Jeanette is raising her great niece,
Yes.
great niece right now, and has a lot of heavy on her plate, right? Because it's real heavy to raise a child with severe special needs, right? But
Yes.
I mean, to laugh through all that and to still be like available for me, I mean that's just powerful sisterhood right there, y'all.
Amen. That's good to hear. I'm grateful.
I'm grateful. And
I'm grateful
actually, I'm
too.
grateful.
I'm grateful to meet all of you, Miss
I'm
Helen, Miss
grateful.
Joe, Miss Connie, Miss
Yeah.
Leslie. Yes.
I felt like when because Miss Helen spoke about the Black Authors Appreciation, and I know I'm super grateful that I was able to come out and have a place to, like Miss Helen said, be surrounded by just beautiful, brilliant Black folks. Like,
Mhm.
people who are creative in their own right, doing what they do, and there is no other feeling than like to that the love that everybody's like on the same wavelength, but to for my cousin to be the founder and who have pulled me in the spirit of sisterhood, how before I even got out and I heard about Miss Helen J. Collier. And and Verna's like, she want to meet you. And I'm like, "Well, do she?" And just to be here and be able to share space and conversation and have been on this forward upward trajectory of building a relationship, a friendship, a sistership, right?
Right.
With this phenomenal author and woman in so many ways, like I wouldn't have never thought, you know. So I'll just honor you too, Miss Helen, and just say thank you for opening yourself up to me um yeah, and having Connie here, knowing all the things we've gone through and the things we've
Man.
seen. Um, she's watched me grow. I've watched her grow. And I honor you and just who you are today and yeah, I really do. So I just want you to know that like this is the real deal here.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to be amongst you guys also because we need more women, older women like you guys that have came and are successful just to show like a lot of young people don't have that. They don't have good role models out there. You know what I'm saying? So being a part of this is actually cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel I feel good that I could be a part of this.
Well, thank you
We
for
feel
coming.
good you're with us.
And
Yeah.
she used to always call me old too, y'all.
I did, but I didn't understand. I was still trying to get, I was on the basketball court. I was still trying to get stuff in place. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
But look,
But
I'm
man,
aging gracefully.
yeah,
Amen.
that black don't crack.
Amen.
That black don't crack.
Oh shoot. Yeah.
And
Man.
Connie seemed like she just keep it real. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, if I think you old, but you good with me.
Okay. Yeah. She know where to come though when she need the real to be brought to the
Yeah.
table, you
That's
know?
Amen.
right.
Yeah.
You like good wine.
Yeah.
Sure. I
Good
need a sip of that
chocolate.
good wine right now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get you.
I think you're all good sisters. I
Yeah.
really do.
We are.
Yes, yeah.
Include yourself, dear.
Okay.
Yes. We
Sometimes you
are.
need that good watering, that good pouring too to get back on track.
Yeah, yeah, but that's what sisterhood is about though, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the Bible say, you lovingly and in a good way correct and try to right the track, you know?
Mhm.
Not
And
in
like,
judgment and all that, but
like you guys said when we first started, nobody has all the answers, you know.
mhm,
And so when
Mhm.
it comes to sisterhood, you can always bounce your ideas off of somebody, you know, just in
Mhm.
everyday life, like just coming into womanhood, like somebody was saying somebody's married, like just showing young ladies how to be wife material
right.
and wife ready, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and show them and definitely let them know when they don't have husband material.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
believe it or not, when I was in Ocean Shores in June for the 4th of July, I think, because I went in June, then we went back. Connie was like, "You coming
Yeah.
back down here for the 4th of July?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." But I ended up going. And she gave me some good words of wisdom. So it's not always that you're gonna get that wisdom from an older person. I'm looking at her like, who are you right now? Talking about,
Yeah.
hey girl, that's what we looking for, that good man who, you know what I mean? Somebody who ain't out here playing around and this and that and the other. It was just some real
We
conversation
can't
we
always
had,
pick them, man. Our picker be wrong. We can't
right?
always pick them.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's
let them
true.
come. You gotta wait. You gotta save
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Thank you.
We getting older. We ain't young no
Yeah.
more. We
Yeah. Hey, how time's just been flying is actually scary. We're about to
yeah,
be on Christmas.
I
It's
know.
about to be Thanksgiving. It's about to be the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
all in that order.
Yeah,
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah.
and a new year.
like, playtime's over. Gotta start
Crazy.
investing.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else want to speak on what I mean, when so many different avenues, right? So many
Right.
different aspects of sisterhood. And like I said, when I first started, like these are almost like marriage vows, right? It's
Mm.
spoken,
Mhm.
but we there. And shoot, sometimes even when our marriage vows fall, the sisterhood is still there. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah.
and the support. I
Yeah.
can't say enough about being able to wake up and call somebody at the crack of yesterday,
Right.
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
be right there, or you going through something with your kids and you be like, look, I just need some advice and I don't need no counselor and this, and this, but give it to me real. And Miss Helen J. Collier is good for that. I be like thinking I'm all the way right, and she'd be like, "Well, wait a minute, I want you to think about this." Like
Mhm.
I didn't ask to think right now. I'm just, but it's
It
always
she does that
good.
same thing to me.
Yeah, yeah. She'd be like, "Wait a minute, take a step back, think about this,
Mhm.
right?"
Mhm.
And then those
Mhm.
conversations always end in prayer or
Yeah.
Mhm.
flooding. I mean, the amount of time. This is what I feel like, and this might be a whole nother topic, but when you have your sisterhood, you hear, I love you so much,
Mm.
right? Like
Mhm.
I'm saying this to you, love, or you might have a little disagreement. Then it'd be like, but girl, I love you.
Yeah.
I think that's something, and it's a whole nother topic, but I think that's something that men don't get
Mm.
special about sisterhood, right? Because we can get on each other's nerves and this, and this, and at the end of the day, I still love you. And I might, I don't know. I ain't talked to you for the last 2 weeks because I'm still mad about that conversation. It might
But,
be a text. It
mhm.
might just be I'm gonna call and hope she don't answer the phone so I can just leave this message. Kind of little on the sneak or whatever, but it's all love. And you don't let if your sister means that much to you, you don't let too much time go by. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
That's like
Yeah.
you were at the hospital with your friend, you know,
Right.
it's like it ended up being the topic
Right.
for
For
today,
tonight. Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, think of something. And I was thinking, sisterhood or whatever. And then when I started the prayer and I was like, thank you for this sisterhood. And then
Mhm.
like, that should be the topic. I was like, yeah, that's confirmation of what I was thinking. So
Mhm.
I'm really glad that we had this conversation. And I'm glad that, you trusted us enough to, everybody trust each other enough to
Yeah.
your hearts and to speak what's on your mind. Because I love it. And like I said, I can't wait until we get together.
I I like I have three sisters, right? And I'm gonna say this because first I want to just point out that thanks thank God that the creator of all, like men, women, whatever, w w that he created us to be in relation, because I
Mhm.
have three sisters. And it's sad to say, but my own sisters, like I cannot say, have shown up for me. You know what I mean? But I'm thankful to God that you don't have to pump the same blood or be
Mhm.
related from mama or daddy or whatever to find a sister, and to find
Yeah.
somebody who truly loves you and cares for you and shows up for you and who will cry with you, fight with you, and still strive with you, right? So
Mhm.
I'm really just that that's like it's a sensitive subject for me because I really wish that my sisters and I had a better relationship. Um, One of my oldest sister I haven't seen in probably well, since 2016, but only because it was our mother's funeral. Before that, I saw if mama would have still been alive, I wouldn't, or granny, I wouldn't have seen my sister. I don't see my sisters. I don't have any relationship with two of my sisters. One is very estranged, and we share the same mama. But
Mhm.
I'm just so thankful that Like I can be um in a relationship with a woman and call her sister, and we don't have to be related. You know, Verna
Mhm.
has shown up for me. And it's like, even though that space and time, it wasn't what maybe you would have liked it to be in hindsight, what it could have been, but we have what we have today and moving forward. And God has brought you and I back together. We've always been family and always, but you're like you're like Lana or Michelle or my sister Melissa. You're my sister, you know?
Mm. Mm.
Well, you know I love you. Oh,
I love you too.
And the crazy part is it's crazy because you don't know where you're gonna connect that bond at or where
Hmm.
you're gonna
Right.
be
Hmm.
at the time. Like it's no timeline on it or no
Right.
place, where you meet these connections because like you said, you have sisters that
Hmm.
you don't even talk to or connect with. And I have brothers.
Hmm.
I don't have no sisters. But when I was incarcerated, I met somebody down the line, and basically she introduced me to her sisters,
Mm.
and I can call them like they're my family. Like I can go to their house, I can open their refrigerator
Yeah.
and not feel like somebody's looking at me funny, but I can't even do that at my own brother's house. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I gotta be on pins and needles, or I
Mm.
gotta watch what I say, or I can't call him if I need something, but I can call this individual
Mm.
sisters and they're gonna come through for me
Hmm.
like they're my blood. If it's like money, if it's anything that I need, just like some support. Maybe one day I need help with putting an outfit together to look girly. I
Hmm.
can call Big Sis and be like, "Hey man, you think this goes with this?" Or you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just pop it and just feel comfortable. She ain't gonna be like, "Oh, you're too boyish," or "That's too boyish." She gonna be
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, she's my hype man." She gonna be like, "Yeah, put that on, do that, do
There
your
you
hair
go.
like
There
that."
you
You
go.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like I said, it doesn't have like, I don't know. You don't have to be in certain, like, I don't know, certain situations. You know what I'm saying?
But you're a
Yeah.
sister. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
yeah, that's my
Yeah.
That's
sister,
fair and
sister.
family.
Yeah.
And like I said, like it took me all the way going to the penitentiary to meet them, to be introduced to something
Right.
like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
never know when God's gonna show up and
Yeah,
put somebody in your life.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Because when you talk about incarceration, I mean, even though I was there as the correction officer, juvenile detention officer, I was still incarcerated with the kids because I couldn't go out. I
Hmm.
could leave until my shift was over, and I
I
was
bet they
still.
liked you too. You was one of the cool officers, bringing the snacks in and everything on movie
I'm
night
telling you, I
in
mean,
the
we whooped it.
juvenile place.
Yes, I did. I got to. I have to admit that because we whooped it. I mean,
Yeah,
no. What do you? And then when I started working with the girls, she didn't start off like this. Wait a minute now. Hold up.
they knew you wasn't playing. They
They
probably
knew
got
I
on
wasn't
that three
playing,
o'clock shift came. They probably got on their P's and Q's.
and they knew I cared about them.
Right.
They knew
That
that I
always
cared
makes a
about them.
difference for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Definitely.
knew I would fight for them. If they were right and if they was wrong, I'd talk to them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I needed somebody to talk to me.
Mm.
We all need that love. You're not born anything. Everything has to be put into you after you're born. And
Exactly.
if you got good information that's going into you, you're gonna kind of come out. But some many times in the Black community, it's such a struggle
Yeah.
until the poor
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
girl don't learn her value, her worth until
Hmm.
sometime it's too late.
That
So
be them sisterhood, them friendships that look like a friendship, but they're tearing you
Hmm.
down through the jokes. And
that's
Hmm.
so
right.
you gotta know how to separate that and move on from them
Yeah.
friendships and them sisterhoods. Everything
Yeah.
can't go with you when you start growing into your season.
There you
Mm-hmm.
go.
We
Yeah.
was talking about that, Connie and I, earlier, about like when I was 26, she was young, 18, 19 or something when I met you. And you have people that are preying on you. You have people who are already ready to get their hooks in you, and
And
really you do. Like in the name of, oh, you my sister. Come on, sister. I got you, sister. No,
that's
but
trying
you
to turn
really
you out.
manipulating and trying to pull me in, and then I
Mm,
find out that it's something else. It's not what you tried to make it seem like it was. And then,
right.
some people aren't strong enough to hold up under all that. Some people just are looking to have a camaraderie, and you just got to be so
They're
careful.
needy. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
and
needy.
like Jeanette,
Especially with females
Joe
because they're
said,
very emotional.
yeah, when a lot of people come that you broken.
Yeah.
Ain't
Yeah.
nobody whole. We done
There you
all been
go.
through some stuff. So,
Hmm.
it's a tricky it's just it's a tricky, sticky situation, and you got to really know how to maneuver and really
Especially with our community and our women.
discern.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Say it again,
Con-
Connie.
yeah. And Connie, what you said brought to mind that while no one wants to be incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to look at what you said as when you said you got things from another family that you met
Mm-hmm.
there that you couldn't
Yeah,
get from your own. And it's
Yeah.
like sometimes God is blessing you and you don't even know it.
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
amen. I hear that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear
yeah,
Go,
that
my
a
dear.
lot.
Your words is going.
Yeah.
Sometimes and receive those blessings.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
That's
when
so
God
true.
send you a sister, that's a sister.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You know when
Mhm,
when you come from nowhere, you're not expecting it, and you look around and you say, I can
mhm,
cry. I can cry now, and somebody will see
mhm.
my
Yeah,
tears.
with all
I
this
can smile
fake,
now, and
all
somebody
these
will
fake
smile
relationships
with
that
me.
we see on
I can be
TV
happy,
a
and
lot.
somebody's happy with me.
We see all it on reality TV
Yeah.
all the time, right? It's just, oh, this my girl, da 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 da. Next thing you know, they throwing drinks on each other, and this,
Yep.
Sleeping with her man or talking about her.
right?
Yeah.
And then you
So that's
have
all
a
her
lot of
business.
young girls not trusting anybody because this is what they see, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
it's on every TV channel or every YouTube or TikTok and all the ticks and talks and whatnot. You know,
Instagram, all the social network.
yeah,
Mhm.
all the fakes, you know, alternative relationships, just crazy
Well,
stuff that they have out there. And, young girls are seeing this, and then it's like, who are your friends?
Mm.
Who are your girlfriends? Who you really gonna run to? And they're thinking that, oh, this is somebody that's real cool or whatever, and they go into the next person talking behind your back and stuff. But I feel like one of the things is that we have to know ourselves so we'll know how to show up for somebody else,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
mhm,
Because
that's
you're
good.
looking for friendships and you're not even your own friend.
Mm.
I'm not
Right.
my own
Right.
sister,
Or making sure you're not giving too much of yourself
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
in the beginning and not getting anything in return. People
Turn.
overplay their part a lot and expose their hand right away. They don't play poker.
That's true. That's sure true.
Ah,
Yeah,
Better
we
watch
haven't heard
that.
from you in a while. What's going on with you?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Are you talking to me, Vern?
yeah, I'm talking to you, girl.
Uh, I'm just, taking it all in. You know me. I'm just want to take all this in. I'm enjoying everything and everybody. And I just think that sisterhood is a broad subject. We try to put ourselves in positions to support our sisters that we may not have ever been in certain positions before. But just the fact that I just want to I speak for myself. I want to always support my sisters. You know, those that are in my life, that are seriously in my life. And like I said, it's a trust thing for me. You know, someone mentioned brokenness. You know, I'm realizing this is I just retired in June, and everyone's asking me, what are you doing with your retirement? Well, I really didn't think I'd be here, you
Mm.
know, in my life. So I didn't make plans like that, you know. But I realized that I've had to take myself out of a lot of situations and just let God do what God's going to do. Here I am, so I'm enjoying, you know, my retirement, and it just, like I said, I cannot speak about the fact that you have invited me to this podcast enough, because you have just really encouraged me. You make me feel like I'm bigger than what I feel like I am. And Verna, you do that to everyone, though. But I just want you to know that sisterhood to me, look at me now. I've gained a few more sisters. And I just want you to know that I'm not just here, you know, for Verna. I have, you know, three more sisters that are now a part of my life, and I want to be a part of your life too, you know. And I think it's a good idea, and I hope that we all can meet one day physically so that we can express even more.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it is time for us to go. I know Miss Joe had to go, and I'm assuming Miss Connie had to go. They did say that they had, you know, some things to do. So, but this has been great. I hope everybody sat down and learned something at the aunties table. And I appreciate you all being here. Anybody have any last words? So all minds could be clear.
Well, I just want to end by saying that the sisterhood is sealed. And I'm hoping that I'm hoping that our expression of sisterhood reaches out to other sisters, to women who would seek a sisterhood that can be um, like a family, create a family of sisters that care about each other and that's willing to be there for each other always. You don't always think alike, you don't always agree alike, but you can always love alike.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, with that, if all minds are clear, we're gonna leave. And we hope that y'all enjoyed this podcast. I know I did. I wanted to thank our special guests, Miss Connie, Miss Jeanette, and Miss Joe Luke. And hopefully we'll have y'all back if you'll have us. I enjoyed it all. So thank you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you make a comment, we'll get back to you. With that, we'll see you later. Peace.
All
Peace.
right. Peace.
Bye.